What is going on, everyone? Auto Endeavors here, coming back at you with another video today. Today we're going to be discussing the brand new release from the Ford Motor Company known as the Ford Evos. So this is a very interesting vehicle because Ford just unveiled this in their Chinese market, but it's highly likely that it's going to come to other international markets, including America most likely. So we're going to discuss our thoughts and opinions on that. So basically what this is being touted as being is a successor vehicle to the Ford Fusion. Now, the Ford Fusion was widely popular, and Ford decided to discontinue it after the year 2020. Now, they are looking for a successor to that platform, and this could very well be that vehicle. Now, this vehicle is touted as being fully electric, and it is touted as being an everyday vehicle meant for regular vehicle drivers, so to speak. And this is going to be an interesting vehicle because Ford has stated that they are no longer going to be making cars. Now, as you can see from the image on your screen, this vehicle is a much larger vehicle than your standard car. This is even larger than the Ford Fusion. Now, the Ford Fusion, if you remember, is a four-door sedan that's sort of mid-sized in its vehicle range. And so this vehicle, it kind of sits in a very unique place because it's not quite in that crossover range, but it's definitely larger than a mid-sized sedan. It definitely sits higher, and its overall height is higher based on this photo than your average mid-sized sedan. But what we're going to do is we're going to go take a look at an article from Motor Authority that discusses this. We're going to take a look at some images from some camouflaged versions as well as the Chinese reveal and things of that nature. So let's go over there and take a look at that. So I've got the article pulled up here from motorauthority.com, and basically what this article is titled is the 2022 Ford Fusion Active Spy Shots, Fusion Successor Almost Here. So this article is speculating that this vehicle is going to be the successor to the Ford Fusion. Now, there are some spy shots here that we can take a look at from Motor Authority's website, but basically this looks very similar to the photo that I showed earlier on in this video. And basically it looks like it's definitely a sort of Fusion kind of next generation vehicle, but it definitely sits a little higher than the average standard Fusion. But basically down here in some of this article states that Ford engineers have been spotted with a prototype for a high-riding mid-size hatchback. So it's interesting. This vehicle will be a hatchback model. I didn't mention that earlier, but that is an interesting point. Most hatchbacks you see nowadays are crossover vehicles, but this is definitely not quite a crossover type of vehicle. It's definitely new and interesting. It's a softer rotor of sorts, designed to challenge high-riding wagons like the Subaru Outback and previous Buick Regal Tour X, though the Ford's roof is more curved than what you'll find on those alternatives. So this is a very unique and interesting vehicle because it kind of takes a little bit from everything and makes almost an entirely new vehicle class, if you ask me. A debut is expected later this year, meaning we should see it arrive as a 2022 model. We already have a good idea as to how it will look thanks to the unveiling at the Chinese market Ford Evos during Auto Shanghai 2021 in April. So I mentioned this earlier in the video, but basically this vehicle, or something very close to it, was revealed in China for the Chinese market, and we could see it come to America or other international markets. The version for the rest of the world looks to be riding slightly higher than the Evos, and the front overhang is also much longer. So that's interesting. It looks like the vehicle will be similar to the Chinese version, but it could be a little bit different. Ford is known to make slightly different variations to slightly similar or very similar vehicles to its international markets. So we might not get this exact same vehicle in the American market, but it could be something similar and something close. So it's still important to take note of and pay attention to as well. Overall, I must say it is a very unique individual vehicle, and it does seem like it could be very interesting if released in America and other countries. Though is yet to be confirmed, the hatchback is thought to be a direct replacement for the Ford Fusion sedan, which bowed out after 2020, which I mentioned earlier in this video. As a result, the Mustang is now the only vehicle that isn't an SUV, crossover, pickup truck, or van in Ford's North American lineup. In other markets, the new hatchback will replace the Mondeo. the badge the Fusion was sold with outside of North America. There are rumors Ford plans to keep the Fusion name for this new hatchback or a variation of it, so don't be surprised if the vehicle ends up labeled something like Fusion Active. The Active designation is what Ford uses for soft-roaders it sells overseas, like the Fiesta Active and Focus Active. Interesting. So originally we thought that North America would get the Focus Active or the sort of larger Focus vehicle, but it's looking more like Ford is deciding to revamp its Fusion line of vehicles, at least for North America, as well as international markets too. For previous test mules, the engineers used a stretch body borrowed from the Focus wagon sold overseas to cover the underpinnings. Those underpinnings are thought to be an updated version of Ford's CD4 platform for mid-size cars. The current version of the underpins the Fusion. That means the potential for front and all-wheel drive as well as plug-in hybrid powertrains. Interesting. So this might not be fully electric, right? They could offer a gas version, a 50-50 version where it's gas and electric, or plug-in hybrid as they like to say, or potentially a fully electric version. So we could see a three-way model lineup for this vehicle. An alternative could be a stretch version of the compact C2 platform that debuted a couple years back in the Focus sold overseas. It may explain why engineers use a stretch Focus wagon body for the test mule instead of a body of the larger Fusion-based Mondeo wagon also sold overseas. We can't see much of the interior, but there are rumors a large display spanning the width of the dash could be offered in some markets, including potentially here in the US, such a design feature in the Chinese market, Evos. We also don't know what's happening in the powertrain department, but an offering of a turbocharged 4 and 6-cylinder engine is likely. As mentioned above, a plug-in hybrid is also a possibility. So, interesting. Could they end up putting the EcoBoost technology into this vehicle? I think they could. I think it will just really boil down to what Ford sees electricity going as. Do they see it as a complement to gas, or do they see it fully taking over gas? This will probably be released sometime in the mid-2022 to late 2022, I am guessing, because this is fairly new off the line, especially the rumors of it coming to North America. So we may just have to wait and see what the future holds as far as Ford and what their plans are for this vehicle. But it's interesting nonetheless, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it down in the comment section down below. So be sure to leave a comment letting us know your thoughts and opinions on this vehicle. Is this something that you see yourself picking up? Is this a gimmick? Is this going to be popular? Is this going to be a fail for Ford? Let me know all that in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with future updates on the Auto Endeavors channel. And with all that being said, until next time, we'll see y'all.